I'm expecting my 7th, and just like the 6 before, none of them were born in a hospital. You want to know why? Because the maternity system, it's not built for mothers. It's built for profit. They keep women in the dark, push meds, rush you through labor because it's faster, more controlled, and more profitable. So let me tell you a few things they'll never bring up. First, Epsom salt bath. They're not just relaxing. They calm your nervous system, reduce swelling, and help your body truly let go. Second, red raspberry leaf tea. It helps tone the uterus, ease cramping, and actually prepare your body for labor. Third, kombucha. When your hormones start shifting, your gut takes the biggest hit. Your microbiome, all the good bacteria in your gut, gets knocked out of balance. And that's when everything flares up. Bloating, the exhaustion, the brain fog, the mood swings. Your gut is asking for a reset. Kombucha is full of live probiotics and organic acids that help rebalance you from the inside out. Your gut microbiome affects nearly every system in your body, from immunity to hormones to brain chemistry. Kombucha supports that entire ecosystem.
Okay, so give me all the juices. What are your comments about this?
Well, she talked about a few things.
Yeah.
She was talking about the maternity system and how it's set up. It's a hospital. It was made to not let people die. I mean, it wasn't made to embrace women and embrace motherhood and parenting and birthing. It's a business, right? And they have protocols that they need to follow. That's kind of where we come in, and we try to bridge those gaps between the medical system and the holistic, which is kind of, I think, what she was trying to touch on. I mean, the stuff that she's talking about, I don't think it should be something that women should be focused on just during pregnancy and birth. And the problem is that we're not taught as kids, and we're not taught just as a population that we should all be doing this kind of stuff regardless. Red raspberry leaf tea, we're always pushing in pregnancy. But teenage girls can start from when they start their menstruation. And this is just the stuff that it's not talked about. And I think that's the problem. So It's not that it's missed in pregnancy and birth, it's just missed as a whole in the whole population.
Exactly. And what about the sea salt? Is this something that you guys also recommend?
So the Epsom salts, the sea salts, yeah, for sure. We know that magnesium flakes helps with
anything to relax the mom.
But again, we use it on our children. We don't just use it in pregnancy and birth. It's something that needs to be used in every home. My children don't see doctors often, and then there's always like there's an oil for that, or there's a remedy that we can do on our own. So they know the herbs that they can use and the salts that they can use, and they do use that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
yeah, when it comes to birth, obviously, a lot of the times we see and we hear how medicalized birth has become, and the whole system is just usually what we say is not a place for a woman to give birth because she's not really sick, right? But yeah, as Carrie said, I mean, a lot of the times we are now trying to just do things more holistically, whether we're pregnant or not. And, a pregnant woman just happens to be a woman as well who just has her own needs. And it's about going back to the basics and going back to really taking care of yourself emotionally, physically, and like health-wise. And so, yeah, this is where we come in, and we want to try to bring in some of that holistic kind of aspect when it comes to birth and taking it back to how it used to be. Just because birth now that is in the hospitals can look very different and may not align with a lot of what women are looking for when it comes to just having that holistic kind of a birth experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, we always say going to the hospital is a big first intervention. If you're trying to go for something natural and physiological, just getting into your car is an interruption. But how can we find ways to make that as natural and smooth as possible? Right? I think that's one of the things.
So you two are doulas.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your work? And what is the difference between being a doula and a midwife?
The common question. We always get asked that. Well, just to start off with, there is a bit of a misunderstanding as to what we would do as doulas or what the difference is between a doula and a midwife. Starting off with, we're not medical professionals. Yes, we know a lot about birth. We love to update our knowledge with evidence-based information, but we don't do any of the medical stuff. And then another thing is when it comes to doulas, we usually say we offer continuous labor and birth support. What does that mean? We're with the mom prenatally, we're there during the whole labor and birth, and then we're there postnatally as well. So it's about creating this relationship with the pregnant women or couple because we do see it often when a woman is in labor in the hospital. She literally meets the midwife for the first time. And then it can take that time to really just connect with the midwife, right? And she may not be someone she vibes with necessarily. You get to pick your doula. You don't necessarily get to pick your midwife.
And then her shift ends and then she goes home. And now you get a new midwife that you have to, maybe midway through your labor, you have to start vibing with her as well. And I always joke, we have the nails, the midwives don't, because we don't we don't do stuff like vaginal exams and CTG monitoring and checking your temperature. We're checking your emotions. We're checking to see how you're feeling. We're bringing the peace. So in any situation, we remind you to keep joy, celebration, peace. And that's really our goal. And we talk about any fears that you may have so that we can reprogram them throughout the pregnancy journey so that when you get to the birth, you feel confident. So our job is to build that confidence before you walk into the space.
That's beautiful. Stress reducers, basically.
We are the stress reduction. So
say
most people say our power is the presence.
Right.
And because they have history with us, as soon as we walk in, they're like, you almost feel that big breath of relief. We're safe. Our doula's here, even if she just stands in the corner. That's all that she really needs to do,
And
hold that
really,
space for us.
That really goes back to establishing that connection right from the get-go. You know, sometimes we work with these moms for months, you know, before the birth. And so it's about finding that right connection. And then just every time you meet, you're just enhancing that connection and that relationship so that when you do show up at the birth, she's already relaxed just seeing you there. You know, you're bringing in that comfort because you've established that in pregnancy.
Yeah. So for the midwives, they're usually hired in the hospital.
Yeah.
So they don't do their own practice.
Yeah, so it's different around the world also.
Okay.
Here in the UAE, they have a little bit less autonomy because most births,
By doctors.
most births are doctor-led. So the doctor is in control of the birth, and then the midwife is there to report to that doctor and to do the medical stuff when the doctor's not in the room. Saying that, the midwife's not in the room the whole time either. So usually when we're at a birth, let's say I was just at a birth 2 days ago, right? It was 28 hours. The midwife was in for the last couple hours. They come in every few hours to check. That's it. So I'm the constant presence. I'm the one that can catch when the fever is starting to get high and let the midwife know, hey, she's looking a little, like something's not going well. So we can also be a bridge like that because a midwife doesn't have the capacity to be with a laboring mom the whole time because they have 3, 4, 5 moms laboring at the same time.
And a lot of the times they're very thankful that we're there.
That we're there. They love it.
Because they do. I mean, working in this part of the world and in a hospital system, they do have a lot of paperwork. And so knowing that there's someone there who actually knows what they're doing and knows how to support this woman, that takes, a whole, it removes a lot of the responsibilities from a midwife because the woman has that support. So
especially also as someone who's, you're taking care of her first and foremost. You're not looking after the hospital and their bills and,
And we don't report to
whole
them, so we
industry.
don't have to follow their rules and their guidelines.
Yeah.
And I think that's where some animosity happens sometimes because they're like, oh, she doesn't have to follow the rules. But we try to be as respectful as possible, but we don't work for the hospital. We don't work for the doctor. We work for the mom. We work for her in every step of the way. So we're always watching out for her well-being and giving her any information when an intervention is offered.
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation.
Yeah. When I was pregnant, when I was giving birth, I was offered Pitocin, and it was a different name. It was not really Pitocin. And in my mind,
Syntocinon, oxytocin.
Syntocinon.
yes, I
Yeah.
think so. So I didn't know it was Pitocin. I took I took an online course about giving birth and all of that, and then I was like, no Pitocin, no Pitocin. I even told my husband, and then it came in a different name.
it's the U.S.
I was
and
like-
British terms.
Exactly, and I
Yeah.
didn't know. I did not know. So that was administered, and then I went into an emergency C-section. But had I known, I think I would have pushed back.
back
I was
a
a
little
little bit apprehensive. I was like, no, what are you injecting me with?
Yeah.
I want to wait. But they were like, no, you're still not yet dilated. You need to,
Get things going.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
And then they're like, tick-tock, tick-tock.
And then, that is what...
Sorry.
That's what we
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what
and
it sounds like,
Yeah,
right?
that's what we
Yeah.
refer to as the cascade of intervention.
yeah.
And
Which is
it
why
was
the-
my first
yeah.
birth experience too. It happens
Okay.
very commonly.
And what about your second and third? Was it?
Are we getting into birth stories? Is that what we're doing?
Sure. I mean, we're having a conversation, and then
No.
Let's see where it goes.
With my first birth experience, I did what my family did. They just had normal, natural vaginal births, and I thought that's how it's going to go. So I didn't really bother with the education or the support. I mean, this is 17 years ago. But yeah, the water breaks. You do what, they teach you in the movies, right? The water breaks. You just rush to the hospital, right? No contractions whatsoever. But then that cascade of intervention started. Let's put her on the Pitocin or Syntocinon. Let's give her the epidural, and then things slow down, and then baby's in distress, and now we need to get the baby out. So obviously ended with that C-section. With my second, it was another very common story that I hear today from lots of moms is the big baby syndrome. So 39-week appointment, your baby's too big, you're never going to be able to birth that baby, so we need to schedule a C-section. So lo and behold, I scheduled the C-section. Baby was nowhere near what the doctor said it was going to be in terms of weight. And then the cherry on the cake was that I find out that my doctor traveled on vacation just the next day, right after my C-section.
Your face. It's like, wow.
So again, honestly, this is like a story that I hear on repeat from so many moms that I work with today. And yeah, that was my second birth experience. My third was actually an unplanned pregnancy. I literally cried my eyes out the day I found out I was pregnant because they're like, we're not doing this again, right? But something in me told me, you know what, I should try. I want to do some research. And as I was doing research, I realized a lot of women outside of the UAE were having a VBAC too, a vaginal birth after 2 C-sections. And I thought, I want to do that. And so that was a very interesting journey of trying to find the right doctor who's going to support me, the right hospital. And then, of course, that's really when I went like all deep into my research and the education. And that's when I came across the term doula and hypnobirthing. And I was like, whoa, what is all that stuff, right? But I wanted to do it all because I just wanted to increase my chances of having the birth that I desired. Interestingly, my birth with my third did end up in another C-section, but it was for all the right reasons. And, it was the whole experience of labor with him. It was just a very calm experience. I practiced hypnobirthing, which is what I teach today. The breathing, all the techniques, having a doula, having an educated husband, having my doctor who supported me. That's what made a difference. And that's why I always say my third C-section was a very positive birth experience. And that has honestly just been my mission now. When I work with women, I'm like, I will support you and I'd love for you to have that natural birth. But you know what? You can still have a very beautiful, positive experience, even if it goes a very different way than you had planned, as it did with me. And I'm going to help you with that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is always something that we talk when we talk and work with women.
But I love that you call the first 2 not a C-section.
They're unnecessarians. And they truly were, and it was such an empowered experience for me with my third because I felt I finally had a voice. I made sure to ask all the questions, even during my labor. It was quite funny, I made it to 10 centimeters, right? Unmedicated, just like how I wanted it. But it was like between contractions, I'm like, wait, I needed to ask a question. What's the risk? What's the benefit? I didn't need to do that. My husband was there. He could have done that. But for me, I needed to do that. It was almost a way for me to heal from my previous birth experiences because I really felt like I just had no voice with my first 2 and I just did what the doctor said. And that's what really just kind of opened my eyes into this kind of work. In fact, I already started training as a doula when I was pregnant with my third. I quit my 9 to 5 because I was like, women need this support. This is amazing. And that's how my journey started as a doula. Right after my third C-section, 3 weeks later, I was at my first birth supporting a mom as a doula. And it was just the most incredible experience to have witnessed that. And it was a VBAC too, which made me quite emotional. But I was like, oh, it's possible. Women can do this. Women are stronger than they think. And I want to continue doing this for the rest of my life.
Beautiful. And when it comes to your work, you mentioned that the last birth was for 28 hours. How are you guys holding up?
I'm fine.
How is your stress level? Did you fall into burnout? How are you dealing with, with this?
So I've been doing this work many years now. I started this journey when a doctor told me to abort my pregnancy, my 4th pregnancy. And something in my gut just told me what he was saying was not right. It just didn't feel like that was my journey. So then I started researching, I started questioning. That's when I became the doula. But because I've been doing it for so many years, and it really does come from a place of heart. People ask me, what do you do for fun? What do you do to disconnect? I'm like, this is my fun. Supporting a woman is fun for me. When she's resting, I'm resting. When she's breathing, I'm breathing. When I'm helping her ground, I'm grounding. So it's not 28 hours of work, it's 28 hours of an experience. So it never really feels like burnout. Yes, I've had births where I'm an emotional mess afterward. I think Saturday we had an event at 2:00 and it was 1:55 and I was like, lady, all my stuff's in the car. Hurry up. I was crying. I was like, I need a moment. Took a deep breath, grounded, and then got on stage. And you saw me like a few minutes after. But I don't think I ever let it get to a place of burnout. We do doula trainings now. We're doula trainers. And we always tell them, you're like a battery charge, right? You're like your iPhone. You never let it get past 50%. If you feel like you're starting to lose some of that momentum, you recharge. Never let it get past below a certain point. So I'm always constantly, if I'm getting to 50, 60%, I go do something for myself. I'll check into a hotel. I call it a sleepcation. I'll take a rest. I'll go to my mani-pedis, my massages once, twice a week if I need to. I do a lot of pauses. I'll sit in the car for 30, 45 minutes to check in with myself, ask myself, how are you feeling? Take a deep breath, meditate. What is my next intention? So it's very key for me to stay intentional. And I think that helps me not get to that burnout phase where I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm done. I never want to get there.
I mean, doula work is passion work. I think if you ask any doula, they're in it with like a full heart, and usually it's due to their own birth experiences, whether negative or positive. And so it doesn't really feel like a job half the time or most of the time, right? It's not like you're 9 to 5, and it's not like after 5 o'clock I can just completely shut off my doula hat. We're constantly in it, especially, with doula work. You're literally being called in the middle of the night. You don't have set hours. And so sometimes it's really just about kind of managing to just pick some points in your day where you can try to just kind of zone out or do your own thing. But it's not always about taking that long vacation, right? Because you're burnt out, because of the type of job that we have. So even if it's a 5-minute just staying in the bathroom, crying it out, whatever it is, or doing something fun for yourself, it just needs to be constant and on the daily. And it doesn't have to be something big. It's just small moments that you can take out for yourself. I think that's what's important, so that you don't reach the point of burnout. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's just reaching out to another doula friend.
That's a big part of it.
It's a huge part of it because we understand. We've been there. So sometimes we don't even have to explain what happened. We just say a word or 2 words and we're like, take a deep breath, and then we just reaffirm each other, and we just remind each other why we're here, and we just push each other to keep going. And then we're like, okay, I'm checked. I debriefed, I'm good to go. And then we just keep going.
I mean, this is not to say that we're not allowed to take some time off doula work. I think that's the beauty in doula work, right? I mean, most of us run our own businesses. You can really set your own times and schedules. But it's important to recognize when you are reaching that point, and maybe you do need that break, some time off. With doula work, birth is so unpredictable. We are witnessing all kinds of birth, from the positive ones and to sometimes, unfortunately, some traumatic ones as well. And it's not only affecting mom or dad. I mean, the doulas, the midwives, we're all sometimes affected by the birth. And so if you're having, a few of those, like one after the other, obviously, then it could be a good idea to just kind of debrief, yes, with your doula sisters or friends or someone close to you, but also maybe consider taking a little bit time off and doing some work with yourself to kind of just heal from those experiences, just so that you can best support the next mom.
Beautiful. And what are you doing some inner work on yourselves? Nervous system work, coaching, or is it support based, or how does it work?
So a lot of us do many other things other than doula work. Okay. So I'm also a transformational birth coach, and I teach hypnobirthing. So with both of them, I do a lot of one-on-one work as well. And I mean, I work with many moms who are first-time moms, but also with second-time and third-time moms who probably carry a lot of trauma from previous birth experiences. So even though I'm not a therapist, right, but I'm trauma-informed. And that's key, I think, to working with moms who've had those kind of experiences. And so for me, it's working with the nervous system and the regulation. And we see that play out when that nervous system is dysregulated during labor and birth. And this is why it's so important that the pre-work, what is the mental state of this mom? What is she kind of like, carrying in her subconscious, right? Because you see a lot of that come through during labor.
Exactly.
And so it's really more about working with that before the birth happens than having to deal with it during labor and birth.
Yes.
And it's interesting because when I work with a lot of moms, sometimes they don't even realize they're carrying a lot of subconscious load, whether it was from previous birth experiences, but sometimes it's just many different stories like that I get to hear, and I'm just like, I can see how that's going to play out at your birth, and you're worried about it. And so we work with that. And so it's so important to just make sure that moms come in with a clean slate, a clean, positive mindset, and work just on a subconscious level. And that's, again, the hypnobirthing work where you're literally reframing, their mindset, but also their idea that they're carrying around birth, so that they can just become very present in the moment when it comes to their labor.
Okay, I see.
And you were asking about us particularly. So it's a lot of that vagus nerve reset, right? Checking in with ourselves. I studied piano for many years, for example, and then sometimes I'll just sit and I'll play and I just kind of get lost for time. So it's getting to a point of just not being here anymore and just kind of checking out, but checking within. So like a soul searching. I did a lot of shadow work. So in that book, Birth of a Mother, that I'm releasing next month, it's particularly, we say the way you birth baby matters because of that first connection with your baby. Okay. But if you haven't done work for yourself, like becoming a mom, like, who am I?
Exactly.
This mother is such a huge word. Right. And I did publish a book a few years ago with other ladies, and my chapter was also Birth of a Mother. But I asked the question, what does mother mean to you? What is mothering? How do you feel about that? And how are you going to bring that daily? But is this really who you want to be? Okay. But I always say that you're not an extension of this baby. This baby's not an extension of you. You are two whole human beings. Okay. So by disconnecting yourself with your true feelings from before, or bringing in all the things that brought you joy before, switching them off so that you can become mom. Because what happens is that switch. I just gave birth, so now I'm a mom. And then who you were yesterday is gone. And now you're trying to figure out this whole new person from zero. And I'm like, no. How can we bring back who you were yesterday? Continue that. But at the same token, you gave birth to a whole new being that came through you. But it's not of you. It's not you. It's a different person. So if we can understand 100% that this is a separate being, and I was so good at that, knowing that these kids were never mine. They belong to the world. And I was preparing them for the world. And I got the honor to help them in that process. But I also knew that I was me. And I worked on my triggers, on what I needed to do to grow as a person. And I always worked on me as a person. Each child made me grow. Each child taught me something new. And that's what the book is. Each chapter is going to be what each child taught me, and how you can use that for you as you become a mother. And I think it's really deep work.
That's beautiful. One of the things that changed with me was when I gave birth, I felt like I had to switch on this whole new human who had to forget everything that she did before and forget about herself, her needs, and just attend to this tiny human, and finding my supposedly new self in this whole new identity. They're teaching us things, but it's not really...
Because it's exhausting to put on a mask every day and to pretend to be something that you're not.
Exactly.
That's where 80% of the depression I know that's probably a topic later, but that happens because we're putting on this mask to pretend to be somebody that we're not connected to, because we don't understand this person that we're trying to be.
Exactly.
We just need to be us and learn more about us so that we can come, every day to who we are.
So how can mothers avoid falling into the anxiety and depression trap?
I
Other than,
besides the support system, the resting, the eating well, setting those boundaries, but checking in with yourself, reducing the stress by becoming more confident. How do you become more confident? You educate yourself. You ask questions. You ask questions that mean something to you. And checking in with yourself. Often I ask myself questions all the time, and then I look at myself and I'm like, you got it, girl. And I try to impress myself every day. And my daughter always says that you're so full of yourself. I'm like, yeah, I love it. She's like, you're so full of yourself that you called me you. She has my name. And some mothers are like, oh, I would never. I'm like, of course, she deserves to have my name. Like, that's so awesome. You know, like I want her to feel super confident in herself as well. And I want her to take those good traits with her.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You know, we always talk about the 4th trimester when it comes to this new phase of life for a baby right after birth, right? And we're always, this is why we always say, the skin to skin and like hold baby close. But the question we need to be asking ourselves is, well, who's holding the mother?
Exactly.
Right. And this is, I think, the part that we often forget because we think now we are this new being, this whole mother thing, right, that we're supposed to be, and completely forget about ourselves. And this is why part of the work that we do is kind of bring this community for mom, this space where she can unload, where she can, share, where she can have that village. Because, I mean, in this part of the world, we don't really have our village for the most of us, right? I mean, most of us are expats here and we don't have our families. And so this is a time where a lot of the moms are feeling alone and just so disconnected. And now they're literally stuck with a baby. Exactly. And so we need to find ways to create that little village for her. And we definitely see, how that makes a small difference, because we hold those like weekly, those get-togethers, and we see tears, we see joy, we see laughter, we see connection, and that's what matters, that connection. So moms just need to be aware that she is not going to be the same person after birth. I think the work starts prenatally, but then also to not shy away from just stepping outside just a little bit, to reach out, to know that support is out there. Because this is what we all are aiming for, that connection, after all.
Because at the end of these weekly meetings, it's always the same feedback. It's the validation. Yeah. It's the validation that what I'm feeling is normal. And people need that. And about finding your village, we always say, even if you have just one person that's going to truly hold space for you, even if it's virtual, even if it's a phone call away, you just need the one. If you have 35 people, and we say the 35 people in your space, but make you feel less than, make you feel like you're doing everything wrong, question everything you do, don't understand how important it is for you to take 5 minutes to read a book or just to sit in a corner and do nothing. That can be more detrimental to you than to having the one person that's going to truly support you and to validate you. And she was talking about the 4th trimester, because we say people don't understand those first 3 months. Really, it's just a continuation of the pregnancy, of you being pregnant. It's not, oh, I gave birth and I'm done. No, it's a continuation. It's a continuation for you, your body. It's just the baby now needs to be here. And then once those 3 months are done, we celebrate the baby like, okay, baby, now you're a baby. You're no longer the newborn. And mom, congratulations, now you're a mother 3 months in. Because those first 3 months, if people understood it's just really a continuation, I think that would shift a lot of things.
Absolutely. So what are the common stressors mothers face, like mothers to be faced before actually delivering?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Share them all.
Where do I deliver? Who's going to be in my space? Can I do this? Am I able to handle the pain? The pain seems to be like the biggest fear.
Biggest one,
yes.
It was the biggest one for me.
Yeah. And I mean, again, with hypnobirthing, that's, I think, why most of the moms I work with or take the classes is to target that one piece, right? The pain, which... Yeah, it's interesting because we know it has a lot to do with your mindset, fear, tension, pain cycle. So it's about tackling, what's underneath there in your subconscious to be able to tackle your fear. So it's, again, that understanding and working more on your mindset than physically, like working on the pain aspect of it during labor. But I also find that a lot of women are afraid of the unknown. Just not knowing what to expect.
The lack of control.
The lack of control. Like just not knowing how this birth is going to end. And then we see lots of women with like sheets and sheets of their birth plans, right? Knowing, like, saying it's going to have to go exactly like this.
They have the little blueprint and their map. They map it out. No, let's not map out a birth.
And whilst we love it when women are kind of planning their birth or thinking about all the different options that they have, we really need to just make women understand that, birth is just not linear, and it can look so different from women to women. And, it's so rare that you see a birth that happens exactly how you planned. And you need to be okay with this. So it's really more about working with that than just focusing on the exact kind of a birth that a mom wants. Because as she's doing that and preparing for that birth, I mean, it's stressing her out because she really wants to control every aspect of it. And it's I think, just doing that work to make sure that she's okay with any kind of a birth, as long as she has 1, 2, 3, you know, how it made her feel, the whole experience.
Yeah.
For a while in the wellness venue or area, we get annoyed at this word transformational. Everybody's using it, right? Come do my program and it's going to be transformational for you. But we always say, if you learn your tools correctly, you learn you just bring your toolbox with you. It doesn't have to be one way. Like when we teach our water birth workshop, we say our first disclaimer is like, this is not about you birthing in water. This is about you learning that you can use it and how you can use it and have it as a tool for yourself. And the day of, you might decide no. Yeah. It's about being flexible and understanding your tools, because this is not just about birthing, but this is just a life lesson. Being able to be flexible is going to be so important as a parent, because you don't know who this human being is going to be, because it really is a lesson. Learning all your tools, all the techniques that you can have in your toolbox, but being flexible. Knowing which one to use, when to use it, and then being okay with it. Okay.
So I think it's more about also just focusing on the constants rather than what's not constant, right? Like your birth experience that you can't really control. Yeah. So who's your support system? Who's going to be with you in the room, right? How supportive, educated is your partner? You know, is he going to advocate for you? Do you have a doula? These are the things that are going to be constant for you. So focus on those. Do your research, do all the things, but don't over obsess with it when it comes to the birth itself.
Yeah, you were asking, what does a doula do? And then we always joke that a doula is your biggest event planner. Birth is the biggest event you've probably ever gone to this point, for you particularly. And somebody to tell you, this is what we should wear, and what 100%. Do you want to listen to? What do you want to eat? How do you want to feel in that moment? Something as simple as putting on that hospital gown turns you into a patient. Mindfully, if you wear something that makes you feel like a goddess, like I'm in control, I feel great about myself, and you walk in with your sunglasses and your music and this gown, because I always wore gowns to my births. You know, it was the same black one that made me feel great about myself. You come in as you, as a mother. You make every decision as a parent, not as a patient. And something just as simple as knowing that you can do these things will reduce that stress, because you walk in differently. You're energetically a different person. You're not giving your power away. You're taking it. And our goal is not to baby the mother, it's to empower her. And that's the difference between our role and maybe family that say, oh, honey, let me hold you. Are you okay? You can't do it. It's okay. Just take the epidural. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And we're like, no, you have the power to stand up straight, to smile and do what you're doing. You just created human life from nothing. Sorry, guys, from a speck of almost nothing. And you've created this life, and then all of a sudden you're going to give birth, and we're like, oh no, you have no power. Like, you can't do it. Of course you can. Look what you just did. We're creative beings. We're creation ourselves. Like why can't we, take something like birth and be like, it's a great experience. We love the intensity of it. I love the passion of it. I love the emotions that come with it. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy. Even the ones that are like, breathe their baby out. It's never easy. But it's not traumatic. Trauma comes when you feel like the control has been taken away from you and something was done to you. And we want you to feel like you were in control the whole entire way. That's it.
What is the biggest, what makes the biggest difference for a mother who's about to give birth? Is it the mindset? Is it education? Is it support system?
It's all of
the above.
It's all of the above. You need you need all of it, and you need
what
to do
is the number
work.
one thing?
We say you need to do all the work. It's herself, the confidence in herself, the belief in herself,
the mindset,
the belief. And I think we've moved away from that, unfortunately, where a lot of women forgot that birth is sacred, that it is a rite of passage, that they can do it, that it is a very intuitive experience. So I think a lot of the times our job is to remind them of that. And then, of course, do some education, build your support team and all of that. But I think it's just the reminder that, we're meant to do this. Yeah. You are in control. You have the power. Unfortunately, this has been removed from how a woman thinks about birth when birth moved into the hospitals, because it just, most of the times they look at it like a very medicalized experience and they're a patient, right? When really, let's just go back to that. And this is why a lot of our work, or whether it's hypnobirthing or doula work, is a lot about how do we bring that kind of holistic experience into the birth room, even at the hospital, because we don't have home birth here. Yeah. So how can we bring that to the labor room?
Is it legal to give birth at
No.
home? It's not. Okay.
Not in the UAE at the moment, and I think it has to do with the way the emergency services are set up. In case you need emergency service, you won't be able to get it within seconds or minutes to save the baby's life. So it's all about the baby's rights to the best start at life. And I'm an intentional person. When the intention is good, I'm all for it. So I respect that. Okay, we're not against medical. Most of my friends are in the medical field, the midwives and the doctors, and we work so well together because we value each other. They understand our role. They understand physiology now because we've doulafied them. We always joke that they've been through the doulafication process.
It's true.
And this is kind of what we're trying to do here in the UAE, having those attachments with the medical field and doctors hiring us and hospitals having us come in and have these conversations. How can you be doulafied? So that we can, bridge those gaps. So the mom still feels empowered and safe in your space, and you trust them. Because the medical field does not trust the patient. They want to control every situation. So you trust them to a certain point, and then when you see that there's a problem, you step in with confidence, with peace, and you solve that problem. But you don't have to solve a problem every time. All the time with every single mom. Not every mom needs that medical intervention. And this is the big gap that we're trying to fill.
So do you think one of the biggest mistakes a mother makes when she goes to the hospital is not really speaking out and just doubting herself?
It's giving her power.
Giving her power.
It's saying, it's like, because we've been raised to be good students too. Sit in your chair. Look forward. Raise your hand. So now she goes into her birth. She sits in her bed. She puts on her gown.
Hypnobirthing, I was just going to do. It's like, raise your hand. It's like, okay.
But this is how we were. This is how we were raised.
Yeah, true.
Every step of the way. Well, that's a whole different topic. My children have never been to school. They're not institutionalized. We don't do that.
Okay.
Because I teach them from small.
Okay.
Right?
Homeschooling.
We call it unschooling. so the unlearning.
Okay.
So we learn passion and we learn emotional, and we focus on that. So I think because I understood, because I was the best student. I graduated with a 5.0 GPA. I was top of the class. I had scholarships. And I walked in and I had perfect attendance. We joked about this the other day. And she's like, this makes sense. I always show up. I'm like, why do I always show up no matter how I feel? And I graduated school with perfect attendance. And I got an award from the government and everything because I never missed a day of school from like elementary till I graduated. And I'm like, this makes sense because my grandmother told me, you have to show up. You have to be a good student. You have to do what your teacher does. I had to memorize things. I graduated and then I was like, who the fuck am I? Excuse the language. Beep. You can beep that out. But who am I? Who am I? And then I got married young. I had my first baby. And then it was like, oh, snap. Like, I know nothing. I learned everything I was taught, but I know nothing. I know nothing of life. I know nothing of emotions. I know nothing of feelings. I know nothing of connection. And then this is where that birthing of a mother journey begins, which is why I say becoming a mother is such a gift for you to relearn and to reparent yourself and to try to connect with your inner being.
That's beautiful.
And each one brought something to me. And I say my daughter was the fourth one. She which is when I started the work with women because she brought the remembering. Now I'm having a female. I had 3 boys and then the girl. And then the girl brought an awareness to me that was just like, whoa, she's a girl. She's a woman. What does that mean? And now we're like relearning how women have been, brought up, how we've been believed to be smaller. And we're probably the biggest thing on this planet is a woman. We're so huge. Yeah. And to allow yourself to walk in that is amazing. I walk into spaces as a full woman now. And then people are like, whoa, sometimes it's too much. I'm like, it's enough for me, honey. I'm okay with it. Okay. Absolutely. And that's what she brought to me, that remembering of the womanness and the femininity and the divine feminine power. And it's just been such a journey.
Oh, That's beautiful.
We also I just want to say, like, we also see it in a lot of cultures as well. I mean, I know, like, when I spoke about my first birth experiences, it was just standard practice that you just don't question the doctor. You just don't. They're doctors. What do I know about birth? What do I know about my body? Right? And so it was always a matter of like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to induce you. We're going to give you the epidural. Yes, sure, doctor, whatever you think. You just never question it. And we see that still today with specific cultures. I mean, I'm seeing a trend, with certain cultures. And we need to unlearn, as we were speaking about that, like unlearn that method. And how can we empower ourselves and start to ask the questions? Because it's okay. It's not about going against the doctor in a certain tone or anything like that. It's just about standing up for what you want. And that's how you get closer to the birth that you desire. Exactly. Because you need to, unfortunately, question things, right? And really just speak out on all the things that you do want when it comes to your birth.
But it's not really common practice, right?
It's not common practice. A lot of the times the work that we do is that. It's like, it's okay. Like, what are your thoughts if let's do a role-playing scenario? Your doctor comes in and tells you this. What are you going to do? And they find it so hard to even ask a question because you're trying to make the doctor feel comfortable. Oh, no, but it's your birth.
Yeah. That's
because
true. The people pleasing.
Who is it going to affect after the birth? The doctor is going to forget about you. Like the moment you walk out of the hospital, you're the one who's going to live with that. That's what I experienced. I had postnatal depression after my first birth because that guilt just never leaves you. It's like, oh, if I had only asked that question, oh, I wish I asked. I wish, things would have gone differently. And so a lot of the work that I do is about, the goal, which is I don't want you coming out of your birth feeling that you had questions that you just didn't ask or wishing that you had done things differently. Get it all out because you don't get a second chance.
That's true. That's true. Carrie, when is your book coming out?
December 20th.
Where can people buy it?
Yeah, we'll have it here. We're going to have a launch, hopefully, at Pause is where we've been doing our weekly meetings.
Okay.
So it'll be there. And then, it'll be with us. It'll be online. I always have like a Kindle version also, so it'll be fun.
Okay, perfect.
It'll be fun.
Yes.
So much fun.
Based on your experience, what do calm, grounded births have in common?
Oh.
A doula.
That is the perfect answer.
It's true.
Hashtag doula.
Hashtag doula.
Well, a doula is definitely one of them.
I love that we are at the same time.
What was the question?
Calm, grounded birth. What does it have in common? The mom's confidence in herself.
Yeah, the trust,
belief,
the trusting in the process, in her body, in herself, in her baby, in her doctor, in her team. It's also important. If you have that confidence going into birth, you learn to just release and let go, and that's what birth requires. That surrender. That surrender is just not going to come if you're constantly worried about your environment and that person in your room, right? So it's really about just trusting every aspect of your birth instead of trying to control every aspect of your birth. That's when things process, and that's how you get to your birth that you desire.
Yeah, that surrender is so huge.
That's so huge.
But it's people ask me, aren't you worried that this is going to happen? I'm like, no, it's fine. That's why my tagline, it's fine, because I trust in the process and the universe as a whole. Yeah. For everything, not just birth, parenting, but all of it. I surrendered to what's going to come.
How did you get there?
There was
Teach us. Teach
the
the moms to be who have control
you can
issues.
You can read about it December 20th.
Give us a sneak peek.
You can read about it December 20th. But even in our doula training, it's a lot of archetypal work with ourselves. It's a lot of shadow work with ourselves. And what is shadow work? Shadow work is basically finding those things that trigger you. Because moms, and not reacting. So when you're triggered, how do you get to a place where you no longer react? And this is probably 80% of the problems that I see in couples, in parents, is that something falls and they react. Okay? Or a kid's trying to get your attention and then you shove them to the side and you're reacting to that moment, but you're not stepping back for a moment, and it's a pause. I always say I'm really good at pausing and checking in with what I call my peaceful river. I have this constant flow of just peace inside. So when there's chaos, I tap into the peace. and bringing peace to every scenario, no matter what's happening. Even if somebody's doing you a wrong, even somebody is in your face doing you something wrong in that moment, you tap into your peace, and I look at the person and I'm like, where is this coming from? Why is this person doing this? It's not what they're doing, it's the why. So it's a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. I'm not going to get into my upbringing and my childhood because there's just not enough time in the world for that. But just learning to love myself first, foremost, and then you can allow other people to love you. And most people don't love themselves as they are. And how do you get there? And this is such huge work.
How long did it take you to get there?
6 children.
6 children ago.
My first child was born. My first
myself.
child was born 23 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
It's half my life. Half my life it's taken me to get there.
Okay.
I can say I still have some work to do because I still get triggered in certain scenarios, and I'm still working through that. It's never. We always say you're never healed completely. You're always healing. The journey is continuous. The second that I say I know everything, the second that I say I'm completely healed, you can say bullshit to me because it's not true.
Absolutely.
The doctor that says I know all, you're in trouble. Find some. This goes back to that question. That's the red flag, because our favorite doctors are the ones that are willing to sit back and go,
Interesting.
show me the evidence, show me the research, let's have a conversation, let's try. And they're able to put that ego aside.
Ego. The ego.
The big effing ego.
That is what
You can call the episode that, the effing ego.
The ego, so important and so big. The ego. But yes, just the doctors who are curious about our work. I've had doctors be like, so what do you do as a doula? And like, tell me more about it. And how does that work? And it's or like hypnobirthing as well. Like they see I'm supporting this mom and she's super calm and just like within herself. And she's just breathing, even at like 9 centimeters. And they're just curious. How?
They're like, how is she doing that?
How is she doing? Unlike some of the doctors would be like, oh, she's probably still like 2 or 3 centimeters, still early on. She's not pushing this baby out. And we're like, oh, no, she is. And then they're just not asking how. How is she doing that? So it's that curiosity that honestly can change the whole face of birth, for women giving birth in hospitals here.
And we have a lot of workshops with doctors and midwives that have come to our workshops because they're curious. And the biggest common denominator with all of them is fear. They're just so terrified of birth. So they know they don't trust the process. So if the person taking care of you,
as much as they can.
if the person coming in to your space is constantly terrified of what's about to happen, they can't support you if what you want is somebody to trust the process and to trust you. So I've even had doctors now that says, sure, I will support this birth, but you better hire this doula or this doula and have them with you because they're basically like, I need them for me. I need the doula for me in that space to remind me that it's okay. And this is true. It's happening, which is amazing because we've been at births now where it's their first water birth. It's their first natural, chill, intervention-free birth. And they have to learn to do nothing. And it's that nothingness that really freaks people out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then it turns into a lack of patience, right? And we see a lot of interventions happen at the birth room just because of a lack of patience, because some of those doctors feel like they have to do something. They have to use their hands, and they can't just be an observer or a witness to the birth. They have to physically do something because
Their hands are always touching something.
It's their training, right?
That's what they need to do.
It's their training, and like we get that. But the point is, if you're going to be a doctor and caring for these women today, you need to update your knowledge and information with how women want to be supported today. And those are the doctors that we appreciate, that are happy to step over that, their training and be like, what is doula work? What is hypnobirthing? Why are women doing that and squatting and not, lying down on their back on the beds? That's what they know. A lot of them. That's what birth looks like to them. And so when they see these things that are out of their norm, we want them to question it. We're here. We love to talk about this stuff. Just the physiology of birth. It's so important.
What is one thing that I did not ask you guys that you would love to talk about and touch on?
No, we're not gonna ask that.
Let's ask you. How are you feeling about becoming a mom and having a baby now?
I feel good. Now I feel good. I feel like myself. In the beginning, for the first 6 months, it was good and dandy. I was like, you know what? I was born to do this.
Yeah.
But then 6 months later, it started to get a bit more difficult. I started to feel that I'm contained. I'm not really free. I'm controlled. And I hate being controlled, right? Or, controlled by anything or anyone.
Yeah.
So I was dealing with my own shadows. I was dealing with my own problems. But now I'm starting to feel like, okay, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to, deal with the shadows that needs to be dealt with. But still, it's a journey, to be honest. And she's showing me a lot. She's showing me a lot of control issues personally. I have a lot of control issues that I need to work on. And I'm working on it, to be honest. But it's not yet fully resolved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting better for sure.
This is why I say each
Does
child.
it get better and better?
This is what I was going to
Each child
say.
teaches you so much.
Each child comes here to teach you something. They're
Yeah.
your biggest teacher.
And it's not just new babies. It's not just
Yeah.
postpartum, right? Like, yes, that's a very challenging time in a woman's life. But I'm always telling Carrie, like, oh my gosh, like my kids are driving me nuts. But then I go back, my kids are older. I have two teenagers. But I'm just like, okay, what's the lesson? There's always lessons
Absolutely.
about yourself more than about anything else.
Exactly.
And I always say, like, this one taught me patience. This one taught me to, voice my opinions and to speak up for myself. This one taught me compassion and love and the importance of support.
Yeah.
And, going back to my third birth story, like I told you, the day I found out I was pregnant was literally the worst day of my life. It felt like it. And I cried like I've never cried before. But when I look back now, I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. He was meant to be here. I was meant to have him. He was the reason I do what I do today.
Oh, beautiful.
He was literally...
What is his name?
Ilyas.
Ilyas. Okay.
So he was not planned. I was happy, right? I had a boy and I had a girl and we were done.
Yeah.
Like, he just came out of the blue.
Yeah.
And literally, it was just like that switch. No, this is your calling. You need to support other women.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, here we are, still doing that work. And now I know my reason of why he came into this earth, besides the fact that he's just adorable and I love him and he's the sweetest one out of all the kids. But yeah, and I think it's just an important message for women to realize, yes, postpartum in itself can be a very challenging time.
But it's also filled with lessons.
But it's filled with lessons.
Yeah.
And then, the challenges and the lessons just won't stop.
Yeah.
You will learn new lessons. You will have new challenges as they grow, and, we work with a lot of moms who obviously have certain issues or challenges during postpartum. And I'm just thinking, man, I wish I had those challenges, So I have very different challenges, but they're challenges, right? Like, so it doesn't end in postpartum, or they just look different as they grow. And then you grow as a mother and as a person as well. So you probably learn to deal with them better as well, and really then are able to take the lessons out of them.
I realize that she's here to teach me to let go of control.
Yeah.
And to trust.
Amazing.
I'm sure
This
she
is the aha moment that I'm having with you guys. She's here to teach me. Stop controlling. Let go.
And that's why I say it's such a beautiful gift. And I always talk about the movie The Grinch. And I know it's silly to mention that one, but it came out when my first son was born. So like, it's very close to my heart. And that was an aha moment for me when his heart grew and he felt for the first time the Grinch. And I'm just like, you get to learn to feel on such a new level.
Oh,
yes.
And for some people that can be terrifying. But if you look at it as a gift, now you feel more for everything.
exactly.
You feel more love, you feel more fear, you feel more empathy, more compassion. So you feel the good things and the bad things dramatically more. I get it. And that could be terrifying. But it's such a gift. It's such a gift to feel.
Gift, yeah.
And I have a friend that always says, you're so dramatic. Like, yes, I love it. Don't you love it? You're welcome. You have to be in the feels and express them and share them with your friends, because then what's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point? If we're all trying to fit into this small box
Yeah.
and not be bigger, what's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
And children do that for us. or not even children, because we work with women that we just had one yesterday that does not have a child,
Yeah.
but has mothered so many children by nannying them or taking care of them. And I want to acknowledge those women that are mothers without having a child, because that's also part of our work too, you know.
Yeah.
If you're everybody can be a mother, but in that process you learn so much, and it's such a beautiful gift.
It is.
And you just got to throw yourself in it. And clearly some of us need more healing than others, so we needed to
It's
have
part of the process.
we needed
It's okay.
to we needed to have
Part
6
of
of
life,
them.
isn't it? Yeah.
So I needed more lessons. Give me another baby husband. Give me one more.
I was like, God, I love it. I really learned. Halas, I got the lessons. Thank you
got
very
She's like,
much.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm done. Thank you.
Yes.
Got it.
This podcast actually is because of her as well. Like this
Yeah.
is one of the things. Like her name is Ava Bilan. The what is it called? The soul's voice, and my soul have been craving this for such a long time. I love healing. I'm so interested in it. I have done shit ton of healing and shit ton of work, experimented a lot with different modalities, and I wanted to share this with other people, like people who would want to hear about this, who are interested in it, in overcoming stress and burnout and everything that's related to, well-being and wellness. So, any questions, ladies? Did I forget to ask
No,
something?
I love that, because you said all these different modalities, and I'll go back to saying it's the intention behind it. People are like, which one is better?
It's like, yeah,
It doesn't
experiment.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. The goal is the same.
Yeah.
It's how you feel, the intention. It could just be pulling cards and affirmation. It can be writing in a journal.
Exactly.
It can be the mirror work, because some people do the
Exactly.
mirror work. Some people do the sound healing. Some people do
Exactly.
the.
Energy healing.
It's all different.
And that can change.
therapy.
Like, I go through phases where I'm just focused on I'm meditating every day. I'm doing breath work every day. And then there's months that go by that I'm not, but I'm doing other things. Like I'm journaling or, just spending time with the kids, like quality time, as much as I can. Like, so it's okay. As long as we're doing something, but also kind of going with the flow, in filling your cup
Exactly.
in however way that looks like. And that's the message we also pass on to moms, because even like with hypnobirthing, yes, you have like your affirmation work and all of this. I know it's not for everyone. Maybe that's not, this woman's way of kind of managing
information is
it was
different.
exactly receiving
Yeah.
information or healing or working with her nervous system. There's many different ways of doing that, and it's
Exactly.
okay if it's just the one thing, but as long as that
Exactly.
works for you, then
Exactly.
you do that.
Exactly.
But I'm also going to say, not everybody has to do the work, and it's fine. Some people are happy the way they are, which is oblivious.
Just don't project it on me. Like, just keep that
I
to
hate
yourself.
I hate to say it, and because I do bring it up, because sometimes some people just don't want to, and that's okay.
That's
I'm not going to tell you that
okay.
you're not okay the way
It's
you
not
are.
our job.
Yeah.
It's not our job to say you need to be better.
I'm learning this too.
Yes.
Like a very
so it's
recent
not.
lesson.
It's holding
don't have
space is
to.
not telling people that they're not enough. You're
Yes.
always enough.
Yeah.
You're always enough.
You're always enough the way you are in this moment, in this present, right now.
Exactly.
Fine. If you want to do more, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure that I say that, because I never want to be the type of coach. And when I started doing coaching work, this was a huge realization for me. I don't want to walk up to a person and be like, wow, I can see that you
Where
need to
is the
do this
problem?
kind of work. I don't want to be that person,
You shouldn't.
because then we've talked about this, when the people are sitting there and they're like, wait a minute, was I not enough? Was my birth not okay? I was happy with my birth the way it was. I was happy with the interventions and the way it led, and I'm okay with it. I'm not saying that's wrong. It's not wrong.
And we see that a lot with
We
doula
see that
work,
so
right?
much.
Like, and this is definitely a big part of our training and part of our experiences when we first started this work as well, because you tend to very subconsciously put yourself in the situation, right? Like if the birth didn't go according to your beliefs around birth, now you're annoyed, and now you're like, why did this birth go this way? And now you're thinking about it constantly, But it's so hard to just put yourself outside of that experience, because it's not ours. Because that woman could have seen it from a whole different perspective. She could have been overjoyed with her experience. But for you, it was full of intervention. It would definitely not have been the way I would have birthed. And for me, that was really difficult initially when, working as a doula when I first started out. And that's what a lot of like the new doulas are facing, those challenges. But it didn't, this didn't happen, and she didn't have that, and she, the doctor did that. And I'm just like, it's not your birth.
It's not your experience.
You did your job. Your job is to support, not to change the course of birth.
And that's why we started a rooted doula training program. So we do that now. People are like, why we don't need any more doulas? Why do we have more doulas? And what do we say? We don't need more doulas, but we need
Better doulas.
we need better doulas. So that know how to hold that space and not make it about themselves. Make it 100% about the mom, and that's what we do. A rooted doula is one that makes it about her.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. It was a pleasure hosting
Thank
you girls.
Pleasure's mine.
Thank you so much. I learned a lot, and I enjoy, doing this so much. Honestly, like listening to you guys, learning from your experiences. Anything you'd like to tell anyone who's watching? Anything that comes to your mind?
Nothing
If there
is
none, then
It's never that serious.
It's never that serious.
It's never that serious, guys.
The whole lesson is just like it's never that serious.
It's never that serious. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's gonna be always fine.
No,
It's always gonna
especially
be
if this is
fine.
specifically about moms. One of the biggest thing I teach is that children are our mirrors. So remember to teach love. Remember to teach peace. Teach patience. Teach confidence. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
for me, it's
focus on that.
For me, it's self-love. Don't forget yourself in the process. I think a lot of moms do that, subconsciously, because we want to give our 100% to our kids and our babies, right? But in the process, we tend to lose a little bit of ourselves and forget ourselves.
Exactly.
So however that may look like for any mom or any woman, just do that. Tap into that.
Yeah.
It's going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Cool. Thank you.
I love you. I'm just gonna cry.
I feel like I'm gonna.
You can cry.
We're used to having
This is what we do. We make people cry. That's our superpower.
Anytime we have anything together, we always have a pack
always
of
make
tissues
people
there
cry.
because we know women are gonna be crying.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because we
This was a
are
healing
your
session
mirror.
for
That's
me.
what we do.
Oh.
I mean, do you know what her name means?
Humble.
Mm-mm.
Hope.
Hope.
That's amazing.
Mine is charity.
Charity, hope, and I'm
Charity,
sweet.
hope.
There we go.
Oh.
Shireen in
Yeah.
Farsi, I guess in Persian, it means
Shireen.
something
Okay.
sweet. So
Yeah. So thank you.
thank you so much. This was amazing.
This was really good.